What's up, everybody? Welcome to 3D Rivals, your first line of defense against stupid movies. My name is DJ, and as always, I'm joined by my sister, Doreen. And today we're going to be talking about Knives Out 2, aka
The
Glass Onion.
Yeah.
I was searching for tickets for this movie, and I put in like Knives Out, and I'm like, what? I didn't see it. It was because it's Glass Onion.
It's Glass Onion. And then I think when I was doing research, and I was like the Glass Onion, and it wasn't coming up. Mm-hmm. So then it's Glass Onion. Yeah. Knives Out. A Knives Out movie.
It's a Knives Out movie.
Yes.
Which fair enough.
Yeah.
So I think we're going to do a very short, spoiler-free section of this, just because this is a mystery movie.
Yes.
And, you kind of ruin stuff if you know the mystery.
It's not fun if you know what happened. Like, if you've seen the first one, if you knew what was going to happen in that, you'd have been disappointed if that got spoiled for you.
Yeah.
So I think, like, the movie's not fun if you know the mystery.
Yeah, and then there's some stuff in here, I think, even that, like, I didn't think was going to happen in this movie. I think they do a good job in these Knives Out movies about that. So I didn't think some of this stuff that happened was going to happen. Mm-hmm. So you definitely, if you haven't seen it, we're going to do a short spoiler-free section. Then you can go see the movie and then see our full thoughts with all the spoilers and things in it.
Yes.
Okay. I'm going to say very different movie than the first Knives Out, but still very good. I enjoy that we get these murder mystery movies now.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not. I think it was probably something that was big, like what Murder She Wrote. That was in the 60s or something, right?
Probably. Maybe.
I don't know. I know it was a thing. I never actually seen it, but
yeah.
Right. So I think murder mysteries was probably really big back in the 50s and the 60s. So to get something like that now is pretty good. Like you said, it is different than the first one, which is a good thing, because I was thinking, like, how do you make a second Knives Out movie? But the thing is just create a different mystery.
Yeah. I was gonna mention something, but then I think that kind of spoils the twist. So let's just get to the purpose of the movie.
Okay.
You're.
Well, I have some more general thoughts.
Okay. Well, I wasn't going to spoil it.
Okay. Okay, go ahead.
I was going to say, in general, the movie is everyone's invited to an island for a murder mystery game, and then it turns out to be a real murder. That's basically what the trailer tells you. And I don't know. I think they went about it in an interesting way, and by the time you get to the twist, you're like, oh, wow, I did not think that would have been it.
Yeah.
Which was interesting. It kept my interest throughout this movie. And I remember sitting there maybe 15 minutes into the movie, and I'm like, yeah, I'm going to enjoy the movie.
Really? See, I thought it started a little bit too slow for me.
Okay.
And like, now by the time we get to the real murder, well, before we get to the real murder, when they started to play the game, then it got interesting. But I felt like that first 45 minutes for me was a little too slow paced.
Okay.
And for me, I felt like the characters in this movie wasn't as interesting as they were in the first movie. Mm-hmm.
Go ahead.
I was saying, the first movie, they're all awful people, but they were interesting, awful people.
They did make them interesting.
Yeah.
I think it's same with the first movie, but everyone in this movie is kind of like a caricature of someone or a type of person in real life.
Exactly.
And it's the same in the first one. These are just different caricatures. This one probably has more of a commentary on kind of, do I say like influencer type of lives? Different.
But that's basically what it is. Yeah. You had the rich techie, right? Which is like Elon Musk or something. Yeah. Right? The YouTube influencer, the fashion influencer, basically. Yeah. And then the
political.
The super liberal political person, but who was actually a hypocrite.
Who is it in politics? The hypocrite there, and then who else did we had the scientist,
right? Who was really bland.
Yeah,
they didn't get
he wasn't interesting.
No.
And then we had the partner of the startup of the Elon Musk type characters, or which what was his name? I'm sorry, Braun.
Miles Braun.
Yes. And you had his partner. And so those were kind of the characters
Yeah.
hadn't played. It's like Clue, which they mentioned in the movie.
They mentioned it a few times, which
Yeah.
is fine. Yeah, and it is like Clue. So yeah, I thought to me the characters were kind of flat. Like some was more developed than others. I will say I did like Janelle Monáe's character. I thought she was great.
She actually did a really good job.
Yes.
Especially after the twist, because there's a change.
Yeah.
And she did an excellent job.
Yeah,
Yeah,
she
I
did.
like Janelle Monáe. I haven't seen a lot of movies with her in it, but
I thought she did pretty good.
she's
Yeah.
pretty good.
Yeah, and I got a mess of that side eye she be giving people.
Yeah, that was pretty
solid side eye.
good. Yeah. I think the one major difference between this one and the first one is the first one starts with the murder.
Mm-hmm.
So you're kicking off the mystery, and I think that's what you were getting at. It's like, okay, the first, half hour, 45 minutes of the movie,
Mm-hmm.
it's building the characters,
Mm-hmm.
but the mystery part hasn't happened yet.
Yeah, you're right. I think I was just waiting for we'll get to the point.
Yeah.
and so yeah, that's probably what the difference is.
Yeah. And now I'm gonna say that's the major difference between the two.
Yeah.
Obviously, the last time it was a family, so you had that
Well-
family dynamic. This time's not.
Also, the first one told you who did it, in the first half hour.
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
And I was like, oh, okay, well, solve that mystery.
They did tell you who did it.
They told
in
you
the
who
first
did it
one.
right away.
Okay, yeah. So this one you don't find out from the movie who did it.
Yeah.
Until the very end.
Yeah.
Yeah. So again, they did it very differently, which I think you mentioned it's a good thing. Not every movie's going to be the same. And after this, I hope they continue doing some Knives Out movies.
Well, there is for a fact a third one in development, so there's another one coming.
Okay, I enjoy my murder mysteries as long as they keep them fresh and different. I think it's cool, and this was definitely fresh and different.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there's 1,000 different ways you can do this.
True. How many ways can you kill Mr. Body? How many endings did that Clue movie have?
Ooh, it had a lot of endings.
Which we reviewed on the podcast.
Check it out. It is a good episode.
Yeah.
So yeah, one thing I also different was this movie had more comedy than the first one, and so I thought it's silly but not too silly where you get annoyed. But there's definitely more comedic moments in this movie before, which I think is a good thing to kind of give it a whole different vibe.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Very true. Of course, you have the return of Manuel Blanc. How do you say his name?
I don't think
Blanc.
it's that.
Blanc is his last name.
Isn't it Benoit? It's
Benoit, yes. Benoit Blanc.
Did you know him?
I don't know.
Okay.
We won't talk about that.
Okay. All right.
But yeah, so we get his return. Obviously, he's going to be the detective in all these movies. Excellent. I think Daniel Craig, strangely enough, does a really entertaining fake Southerner.
Yes. Very over the top, but entertaining.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. And his character had some interesting beats, but again, it was a bit different than the first one.
Mm-hmm.
Because I guess, like we said, he didn't have a mystery to solve from the beginning, but he did.
See, no.
Yeah.
So, in general, that's basically the whole gist of the movie. One thing to note is that this was a limited release in theaters by Netflix because this is a Netflix movie.
Mm-hmm.
So my question to you is this a movie that should be seen in theaters?
I think you can enjoy it at home on Netflix. I didn't mind paying for it in the theater. If this was a theater-only movie, I would have gone and seen it. So.
Well, yeah, because I willingly went to go see Knives Out, which was because I wanted to see the first Knives Out.
Yeah.
I said yes. No, if you can see it in theaters, by all means. But honestly, I'd have been okay watching it on Netflix. I think it is more enjoyable with people, though. So, if you could watch it with your family or your friends or something, do that.
Yeah.
But, yeah,
Well, I wonder if they're going to make a Knives Out board game. Don't you think they should? It's just Clue.
I was like, it's just Clue.
But money. I mean, maybe you pay, what is it, Parker Brothers, to brand Clue as Knives Out.
I think Clue was Milton Bradley.
Milton Bradley. One of the two people that makes board games. Oh, Hasbro. Sorry.
See? Yeah. It's one of them.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's just Clue.
Okay, still.
Okay.
But you get a clue board. That's this movie.
But then it's like in 3D with like,
Oh, you want it in 3? Yeah, cool. Like 13 Dead End Drive.
love that game.
It's an awesome game.
Yes.
Yeah. What else I was going to... Oh, Netflix. I do want to talk about that before we get into spoilers. So is this a thing that Netflix is going to be doing? Because I saw a Netflix trailer, another Netflix movie trailer. Are they preparing themselves in case streaming fails to be a movie studio?
I don't know about that. I think a movie has to be released in theaters in order for it to be considered for an award, I believe.
Okay.
Because I think they had a movie that was like, it doesn't count because it was on streaming.
Yeah.
So I think that's why they do these limited releases.
Yeah.
So it can like qualify.
Okay. Oh, okay. Yeah. I see that.
Yeah. But yeah, so that's I think that's why they're doing. I think that was an issue.
Who released the first Knives Out?
Lionsgate, I think.
Okay.
And then Netflix bought the rights for like $300 million or something crazy.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
I don't know that this movie, like, very good movie. I don't know if it's gonna make 300 million.
It can't.
Yeah, because it's limited release, so it didn't even come out everywhere.
Yeah, we can talk about the release. I had that in my nitpicks.
Okay.
And I'll tell you why it's in my nitpicks.
In your nitpicks. Interesting place. Okay. All right. Well, we'll think about it.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So, are we on to spoilers then?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Man, I'm trying not to jump right into the Swiss.
No, I think we should. Like, why not? Because the beginning of the movie basically is they're all friends with this tech genius in quotation marks.
But definitely an Elon Musk standing, right?
Definitely.
I picked that up because when they first started talking about him, it was to the scientist guy, and they're like, "You gotta tell him no sometimes," and the scientist is just doing whatever he asks them to do, which is basically what happens in
whatever
the companies that Musk have.
Yeah, whatever crazy idea he comes up with. Yeah, so basically once a year they do like a friend vacation. This year he invites them all for a murder mystery to solve his murder. Yeah. So the 5 people go there, but the thing about these 5 people they're all indebted to him, basically. And then you learn that Janelle Monáe's character was his partner that started their company, and basically is like he what do they call her? He's social networked her.
Oh yeah. Yes. So just like Mark Zuckerberg did to his startup partners.
Yes, and the thing is because basically she was the only one that was willing to stand up to him and say, no, this is a bad idea, we're not doing this. Everyone else, because he is their piggy bank, right? No one's going to say no. Yeah. Whatever he asks, and then just, like, this guy's a jerk, and he's not really the friend. Like, the things he was asking them to do. Yeah.
At the end of the movie, we'll get to what happens there, but that's why I was like, these people, I'm like, hold on, I don't care. Like, obviously, if someone is bankrolling you might give some leeway. Mm-hmm. But there should be a line, right? And these people went way past a line, right?
Well, basically, it got to the point where they were going to destroy themselves, at his request, basically. Mm-hmm. And it's like, oh, well, he will take care of us. At some point, you gotta let that money go. Yeah. It's not worth it.
Yeah. That's true.
Yeah, so it ends up being that all 5 of those people will have a reason to kill him. But it turns out the murder mystery that they were there was just a game, and it was completely fake.
Right. All right, so I have to say that I was surprised who was murdered in this movie. I thought it was going to be Braun, right? Like he brought people there for his murder mystery, and then he actually gets murdered.
That is what the trailer made it seem like that's what's going to happen.
Yeah.
But that was not the case. So, shortly after, Benoit ruins their murder mystery game.
Which was funny. So, yeah, Benoit Blanc comes in and completely ruins the murder mystery. Like, before he even gets quote-unquote murdered, he's like, oh, yeah, this is it. Yeah. Which was hilarious. Yes. Yeah. And after that, So you're still I was suspecting him still to be killed for real, and then they all had to figure out which one of them there did it.
Yes.
But Braun didn't die.
No, one of the friends, Duke, the character played by
Dave Bautista.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
He's the one that dies, and he's the murder that they're trying to solve. And so then once we get to that is when it really picks up.
Yeah.
And we kind of learn more of the backstory about all of them, more of the backstory for Andy, which was the character played by Janelle Monáe. And that part I did not see coming.
Yes. So, well, I guess we have to get a little bit past Duke's death.
Yes.
So I did not expect Duke to die, and so then that kind of threw off, like, okay, who is the murderer here? And then at that point, everybody's going crazy because Duke died, and then there was kind of a bit of a small and not so real twist in there where Duke drank from Braun's glass.
Yes.
So Braun's like, oh, they were trying to kill me instead of Duke.
Yes.
So someone here tried to kill Braun, and then Duke died instead. So that's kind of part of the mystery. And then, that's when everything goes crazy. And so now we have Andy. So in the dark, while Benoit Blanc is trying to talk to Andy, she gets shot. Mm-hmm. And this is when we go to the past to figure it out. And it's not Andy. It's her twin sister, because Andy is already dead.
Yes. Which was like, what? Did not see that coming. No.
There was no part of me that was like, that's not really Andy. It's her twin sister. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So good twist, I think.
Yes. Yeah. So basically, it's basically her twin sister trying to find out what happened, because the report is that her sister committed suicide. And her sister name was Helen, was like, there's no way Andy commits suicide. That's not who she is. Right. She's not doing that.
Yeah.
And especially it just didn't line up with the things that happened. So she basically said that her sister sent an email to the group of 5 saying, I found it. So basically it's just like they basically ripped the company from her, and they showed like a bit of a court scene where it was a straight up social network thing.
Yeah.
It was like, you can't prove that this was your idea.
Right. So she found the proof that it was her idea, so she'd be able to bring that evidence and, definitely sue them.
Yeah.
At that point, I figured Braun had something to do with it. Now, I didn't know if he had killed Duke or not.
Yes. I figured him for Duke, but I wasn't sure about
Andy
/ Helen. Yes.
Yeah. So... Right, because not only did someone kill Andy, someone just tried to shoot Helen, quote unquote Andy, because they thought it was Andy.
Yeah, and that's the thing, right? Like,
or no, he didn't think it was Andy.
No, he knew, right? Because he knew from the get go. Because spoiler, he killed Andy.
He actually killed Andy.
Yeah.
So, and that was kind of the point that Blanc had brought out when they started this whole thing. So the mystery did start from the beginning. We just didn't know.
Yeah.
Which was interesting. But basically, Blanc is like, everyone there is going to think you're Andy except
the person that murdered her.
Yeah. And so for them, then they'll know.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And so then they're trying to figure out who's.
Yeah. Yeah. Series of flashbacks, different who's doing what conversation they've been having. So we kind of see what everyone's motivation is, what's happening, why they're doing the things, and that's where you learn more about how indebted to Braun that they are, and then even up until that very moment, the decisions that they were forced to make because of him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he's got something pretty much on everybody.
Yeah.
He started Duke off with his Twitch career, and then he's like holding him up on YouTube because he got kicked off of Twitch for saying inappropriate stuff.
Yeah.
And then you got the fashion lady who basically was falling off, and then he picked up her
Sweetie
legging
pants?
brand or jogging pants, whatever.
Yeah.
She made some clothes.
Yeah.
And then he's got one over on her because
she can't keep her mouth shut.
Well, no, she thought that a sweatshop was somewhere where they made sweatpants.
But the thing is like, even though she was dumb about that, it's like, think about what he was making her do.
Yeah, so she was gonna have to take
Right.
the fall on the fact that her pants were
Yeah,
made in
but
sweatshops.
he's the reason why those pants were made in the sweatshop to begin with.
Yeah,
So like, that's the kind of the whole thing, right? It's like, he's the reason why she's in trouble and she has to take the fall. But at the end of the day, is what, I give you a few $1 million and it's all good.
hey, money talks.
Crazy.
Money talks. Give me a few $1 million. Of course, he bankrolls the politician. That's enough said right there.
Yeah.
You know how that goes.
Yeah.
So he gets to do whatever he wants. The scientist, he's in his position at the company because of him.
Yeah.
So
And then the last, I guess, straw, kind of, the special one was for Andy, is that he wanted to create this hydrogen fuel.
yeah,
She says it's dangerous, no way. And basically everyone else is not on board with it. But then it's like he's basically forcing them to be on board with it.
yeah, because our scientist guy, I'm sorry, I don't remember his name. I guess that's what you mean about the characters.
Yeah.
Because they're all caricatures, so I remember them by who they represent.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, our scientist guy, you know, he's like this new hydrogen fuel you got. You know, it's hasn't been tested, and Braun is trying to do a release of it.
Yeah.
You know, a press release, and oh, we've got this, blah blah blah, and it's like it's not ready. It hasn't been tested or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And then, of course, the politician gave him leeway.
Yeah.
Right, because he pays her, so gave him the approvals he needed to get the stuff manufactured and all that. And so it's just a cycle, and it's dangerous, which is why things need to be tested.
Yes.
Yeah. So, and then I guess the other side thing is the whole house is being powered by it.
Yeah, the whole house is being powered by this hydrogen fuel that he developed.
Yeah.
Which still, like, yeah, it provides power. Everyone knows that. The problem is how super dangerous it could be.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, that's kind of what Andy's last straw was. That gets her killed because she didn't want to do it. He kicks her out of the company, basically. She loses everything because she couldn't prove it was her. The company itself was her idea.
Yeah.
She finds that proof, gets murdered, but her sister comes and finds the invitation to the island that they're all vacationing on.
Yeah. And so her sister gets Blanc to help her figure out who it is.
Yes. Yes, and that's when we start the mystery with the sister slooping around and all of that. So yeah, it was pretty good. And I would say up until the very end, do they not reveal the killer? Which, by the way, you should be able to figure that out beforehand. At least for definitely Duke.
Yeah, it was. I figured Braun had something to do with something, but I still not until they revealed everything, I didn't understand how or why everything was done. So
yeah,
I think that was well written.
Yeah.
So it was definitely pretty interesting. So Duke, because so we mentioned that you got Helen pretending to be Andy there, right? So what happens is it finally hit the press that Andy is dead because everybody else thinks that Helen is Andy, right?
Yeah.
And Duke sees it because he always keeps his phone and he gets all the alerts. So he plans on using that to blackmail Braun because he wants to get on some kind of news network that he's starting, I guess.
Yeah, no, he wanted to be a part of Alpha. Alpha was the name of the company.
Yeah. Well, Alpha News, I thought. It was something.
Was it? I thought it was just he wanted to be a part of the whole company. Was it just a news thing?
Yeah, I think so. Because remember, he's the YouTube influencer guy. Where did they go? Especially the way he was, what was that? Opposite of a feminist.
Yeah, a
man. Yeah, male supremacist. I have no idea.
Whatever.
So you know how they go. They do the YouTube things and then they get hired on at Fox or whatever and be a pundit or whatever. You know, that's how that goes. So I think that was his deal. He was trying to get with the news company, I guess. It definitely said something with news there. I remember that.
If you say so.
It did.
I don't believe you, but whatever. It's not important. Basically, he says this changes everything. He's like, yes, it does. And then he's dead.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so that was Braun killed him. But at that point, they didn't show you what he saw. He
Right.
was saying his YouTube channel blew up.
Yes.
And at that point, we didn't know that Andy was dead. Once we found out that Andy was dead, that made it clear.
Yeah.
And I did figure out, I'm like, oh, wait a second, Duke figured out that wasn't Andy and tried to bribe him.
Yeah.
And I like how Blanc put it. He was like, Braun is an idiot.
Mm-hmm.
And it's so funny because while in the first movie, you had an intelligent killer
Mm-hmm.
who actually thought through everything that they did and even rolled with the punches when things changed.
Mm-hmm.
In Chris Evans, right?
Yeah.
In this, he's right. Our killer was not smart.
No, well, even then, like when he tries to kill Helen, he took the idea from Blanc.
Yes. So I'll start with Duke. So your idea is like, I'm going to kill him, and your first idea was, I'll just kill him with his allergy.
Yeah.
So he poisons him with pineapple juice.
Yeah.
And then pretends that he picked up the cup accidentally.
Yeah.
I do like how they show it because they show us, because we don't remember either. It's like the people in the movie don't remember, and the movie watchers don't remember what actually happened. But when they re-show us, they show us Dave Bautista's character picking up the wrong glass, even though that's not what happened.
Yes.
And I'm like, I like that because it also messes with our minds.
Yeah, well, that's what he said. He said, you saw it because that's what he told you.
Yeah.
So then you're like, oh, okay, he picked up the wrong glass, but that's not what happened. He was handed the wrong glass.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He handed it to him. Now in the rewatch, I'm going to have to see if he actually handed it to him in the first one. And I think he did.
Probably.
We just don't, because you don't pay attention to that.
No, it's such a minor detail.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's pretty good. But yes, a stupid way of thinking of killing someone.
Yeah.
When he kills Andy, he and Duke knew it was him.
Yeah.
Because not only did he find out Andy died, but he saw Braun leaving Andy's house.
Yes, which is another thing that they showed us that we wasn't paying attention to.
Yeah.
Because he was like, man, remember when you almost pancaked me coming from, and he changed the subject. He's like, oh, we're coming from Andy Cooper's house, but that's not what happened. So that was another thing where it was like, they were showing us everything that was happening, but we didn't pick up on it until after the fact.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think that's pretty good, both at how it's shot and how it was written.
Yeah.
So that was pretty good. And then lastly, when he tried to kill Helen.
Yeah.
So all of his art, he doesn't think of an original idea. I guess that's the point. He doesn't have original ideas, and his original ideas are stupid.
Yeah.
So Blanc tells him earlier that day that basically having everyone here in the house that has a reason to kill him and having them here for a fake murder mystery is like putting a gun on the table and turning all the lights off.
Yes.
So he literally turns all the lights off to kill Helen with a gun.
Yep. Basically, it's like, because he was probably thinking of a way he knew he needed to get rid of Helen. Couldn't figure out a way to do that until Blanc gave him the idea.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, the guy is not smart. He has no original ideas.
Yeah, but I love that scene. I don't know why. He was like, Braun is an idiot.
Yeah.
And I'm like, thank you. I'm glad. Because let's be honest, people, most people in that position are not the intelligent people. It's everything, everybody beneath them.
Yeah, everyone that's doing all the work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, even though they get all the praise.
Yeah.
So here's where I say the people there, it's like, I mean, the line was definitely way before this. But the fact that they still stuck with Braun.
Yeah.
After, like, it just got laid out for them that he's the one that killed Duke. This is before they even found out that he killed Andy, too. Because he didn't tell them why he killed Duke, but we figured out he killed Duke. And he still was standing with him. And they figured out that he killed Andy. And they're like, still no. Yeah. I'm like, bro, he just killed somebody.
Yeah, like he killed someone that's supposed to be your friend.
Yeah, I
know. Like at what point? Because Helen finds the evidence she needs to prove that her sister really did start the company. She finds that proof. But being inexperienced, the evidence gets destroyed.
Yeah.
And basically, Braun is like, you have nothing. And she didn't have nothing. It's her word against his now.
Yeah.
What got me is that there's 4 people in that room who all raised their hand and said, I saw nothing, which is the exact same thing that they did to her sister in court.
Yeah. And then that's the thing, because without them, you can't even get him for Duke's death, right?
Yeah.
Because he died of, what, anaphylactic shock?
Yeah.
And it's like, well, he picked up the wrong glass.
Yeah. Yeah.
So there's no proof of foul play unless someone speaks up.
Yeah.
Right? And so it's like, wow. So they're just going to let this guy get away.
Basically. All that, just so they can keep some money.
Yeah. And I'm like, yo, there has to be a line somewhere, you know?
Yeah.
Again, it was well before this.
Yeah.
But, like, how do you not draw a line at, oh, he just murdered one of us?
Yeah.
I was like, these people, and that's the thing, these people aren't good people, right?
No. They're really not.
Yeah.
No. I have zero cares about these people.
Which I guess is another similar thing about the first movie. Because in the first movie, none of them were good people. What do you have next before we go on to nitpicks?
I only had one random movie fact, which we already covered about this there being a 3rd movie in development. Same director, Daniel Craig is back in it.
Okay.
That's all we know so far.
Okay. Okay, so then before we go to nitpicks, I did want to say I did like the resolution, though, because basically they had nothing on him.
Mm-hmm.
And so she decides, because he has the Mona Lisa in his house.
Mm-hmm.
I guess they're going with it was the real one. I'm like, there's no way they give him the real
He
one.
bought it from the Louvre.
On loan.
Yeah.
But come on, the real one's not even up in the museum half the time.
Hey, apparently they were in so much debt they were willing to sell him that. One, I don't get the Mona Lisa.
Well, hey, look, art is subjective, so I'm not going to get into. Yes, it's a picture of a lady.
It's just a picture of a lady.
But it's a super important picture of a lady.
Why?
Because people told us it was.
I don't get it. But yeah, so anyways, they can't do nothing about the murder, right?
Yeah.
Neither one of the murders.
Yeah.
So basically, Helen gets her revenge by destroying something he really loves. And destroying him in the process, because he is now responsible for destroying a priceless piece of art.
Right. So it was twofold. Because she used the hydrogen fuel that he had, especially since the house was built on it, to burn the house down and take the protection away from the Mona Lisa so that it burned with everything else. So not only does he lose the whole deal with the hydrogen, there's no way that goes forward, but also you're done.
Yeah.
Like, you destroyed the Mona Lisa. Trust me, if we learned anything about how quickly they raised money for that cathedral that burned down a few years ago, like, people are going to be well upset.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely. It's a well-known piece of art for whatever reason. So, yes, no, if you go down for destroying that in your unstable, powered house, he has nothing left.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he's done. The resolution is great there.
Yes.
So he doesn't go to prison, but there's nothing he could do. And he can't even get back at Helen because the only way he could do that is by admitting to murder.
Yes. I think it would have been nicer if he would have went to jail, but,
Rich people don't go to jail.
No, they do not.
So, yeah.
Yeah. So I thought it was still a good ending. I mean, I get like, there's no way he's really paying for his crimes. But I guess for him, maybe that's worse.
Yeah. I would say for his character, it does seem.
Yeah.
I mean, unless the world forgets, but I think adding the Mona Lisa in there is kind of going to make people not forget.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Now are we on my nitpicks?
Yep. Let's pick some nits.
Okay. I have just 2.
Okay.
One is not a nitpick for the movie, but for Netflix.
Okay. Does that count?
It counts because I was annoyed.
Okay.
So I realized this was a limited release.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't realize how limited it was going to be.
Oh, how limited is it?
So they only show it at AMC, Regal, and Cinemark theaters.
Okay.
Which means on our side of town, there was only one theater that showed this movie.
Oh, the theater I went to. So it just so happened to be. Okay.
Yeah. Which was annoying because I wanted to go down the street to my crappy theater. And I couldn't figure out, like, I'm like, why is this movie not listed? So eventually I typed in the movie because I usually type in the theater I want to go to.
Yeah.
So this time I typed in a movie I went into, and then I'm like, there was only 3 theaters that were showing this movie.
Wow. Okay.
So yeah, super limited. Only 600 theaters across the U.S., which is about 12 theaters per state, by the way. Not enough. Not enough.
Okay.
So yes, that made me angry because I did not want to drive across town to go see this movie.
Well, at least it was shown at one near us.
Yeah, and yeah, it's only gonna be in theaters for 1 solid week.
Well, I guess for everyone watching, I guess they have to wait.
They got to wait for Netflix.
Netflix,
now.
yeah. How long is the?
A month. It comes out December 23rd.
Okay, so 30 days. Okay.
Yeah.
They should have did a wide release. Why not?
That's what I'm saying. Like Netflix, why not? Because I was thinking, like, how do you get your money back for this?
Did they not want to pay for it?
They already paid for it. They had to pay Lionsgate a ton of money.
Maybe that's why they didn't. Because, like, don't you have to? No, the theaters pay to pick up the movie, don't they, or something?
Well,
I don't know.
They got a contract. They have a contract for it to be shown at those 3 theaters.
I don't know. It should have been a wide release.
I don't understand why not make it wider. Like, why are we only limited for a week? Because it's like right now I think they made about $15 million.
Right, and this is definitely Come on, for opening weekend, this should have been way more.
And it would have made more. But think about it. For us, there was 1 theater to go to.
Yeah.
The West Side had 1 theater to go to.
So are they betting on they make more money off of subscriptions than they would have for this? I doubt it.
But then that's not only count if you get new subscriptions in order to watch this movie. I don't.
And then
see
you
that
have
happening.
to keep them.
Yeah, I don't know how they make money.
I feel like you make more money on this movie if and I'm not saying it doesn't go to Netflix.
Yeah.
But do a wide release for 2 months and then Netflix.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, to me, it's just like I don't. Maybe I don't understand the finance behind it all. To me, it doesn't make sense, especially because the first movie made $400 million off of a $40 million budget.
Wow, and you just increased this budget because you bought it for $300 million.
Right, you already.
I guess that's not just for this movie though, right?
Okay, so it's for the third movie too. So
yeah.
You're talking about $150 to $200 million. Where are they getting that $150 million back?
Not with a limited release.
Yeah, I don't get it. And I heard Dan Craig is making bank off of this movie.
Of course.
So yeah, I don't get it.
Huh. Yeah, no, that doesn't make a lot of sense.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe someone can explain it better to me. I just feel like they would have done better. At least put it in more theaters.
Yeah, thinking about it too, I mean, streaming is one thing, I get it, but honestly, like we were talking about it, like you make more money on the theater release for this. And to me, I mean, I guess it goes back to, these CEOs and stuff. They're not intelligent people. Isn't it better? Wouldn't it be better for Netflix? Because when I saw the trailers and stuff, I was like, oh, Netflix, I know there are a studio, technically. Mm-hmm. Oh, but they're going to do, like, a legit studio stuff and have their stuff released in theaters now. Mm-hmm. Wouldn't it be better for them to do, like, a 60-day release once the legs are done on the movie, then put it right on your platform?
I don't know if it needs to be that long, but, I mean, it definitely needs to be longer than a week.
Yeah.
And what was my other thought about that? Now, like, my brain died on me.
I think that's a better idea. Of course, I'm not a company, own a company, but
yeah, just I don't get it because it's like, oh, limited release. And it's just, I feel like they just put it in theater because they had to.
Because they want the award.
I mean, yeah, or it can qualify for something.
I'm gonna say, who cares? What are these awards? Don't mean anything.
It means something to the people that's winning them.
Look. I'm gonna be honest. Like, besides the fact that, like, I know people get happy about it, like, getting it, and it's cool when people get awards they deserve because, like, oh, you're a really good actor or whatever like that. But the awards don't make you money if you're a studio. I mean...
No, it does, because think about it. Whenever someone is in a movie, then it's Academy Award winner George Clooney. He's not just George Clooney anymore.
It can bring people. Yes.
See? There you go. So then it makes money.
How much does that work anymore, though? I'm talking about in it. Do you think it still works a ton?
I think it still works a ton.
When we see, like, oh, this is Academy Award winner, you think that pulls... I think it pulls the older moviegoers in.
I think it still... because people still care so much about, like, I don't care who's in a movie if it's a good movie. But there's a ton of people who still cares about who's in the movie, who's doing what. Yeah, so yeah, I don't know. To me, Netflix only makes money if people subscribe to Netflix in order to see this movie, which I don't see happening.
No.
No.
No,
I'm
I'm gonna watch it if I already have Netflix.
Yeah, but I'm not gonna join Netflix just for that. Like, you have to be something way bigger.
Yeah, and then if I didn't already have Netflix, I would use a VPN. No, would it be nice if we had a VPN sponsor? That would be perfect segue. Okay, no, but yeah, no, I don't think people are gonna subscribe to this for that. I don't honestly. I think if you're gonna rely on subscriptions. And I think Disney had to learn this, and probably HBO too. Shows are more likely to get people to subscribe and keep a subscription than a movie will. Why would I subscribe to watch a movie? Which I guess hypocritically, technically, I got HBO to watch Wonder Woman.
Did subscribe to HBO just to watch Wonder Woman.
But I didn't plan on keeping it.
But HBO ended up being worth the money. But see, that's the thing. Wonder Woman to me is way bigger than that. Like, I can see subscribing to HBO, a service I plan on canceling, to watch Wonder Woman. I don't see me subscribing just to watch Knives Out. Like, I can see subscribing to Disney Plus just to watch Hamilton.
Okay, yeah. It's big enough, yeah.
It like something that massive. But for this,
for Knives Out, no. I mean, I would pay $5 to rent it somewhere and then watch. Yeah, before I do
give Netflix $14.
Yeah. So
yeah, I don't know how they're making money off of this. Probably why they keep raising prices.
Yeah, probably true.
All right, so my last nitpick: no one gets injured in a house explosion.
Oh yes, that is a fair nitpick.
Okay,
that is a fair nitpick. The house blows up and ain't nobody hurt.
Not even a scratch. I'm like, yo, all y'all don't.
Everything was on fire.
Yeah.
There was a lot of glass in that house.
Another thing, she throwing all of these glass sculptures down. I'm like, man, there's glass getting all up in her eye. She got on these sandals. Her feet should be all cut up.
Mm-hmm. No, well, it's movie glass.
Man, look, I was just like,
movie glass doesn't hurt.
Someone needs to get cut from this glass.
Yeah. I would say that is a pretty good nitpick. And honestly, yeah, I think you're right. I don't really have much else.
That's that I don't like. I would have to watch it again to really, because a movie like this, I'm sure there's plot holes somewhere, maybe. But on the first watch, while you're in the theater, it's kind of hard because you're in the mystery too, and you're trying to figure out who's doing what and why. So, like, in order to get true nitpicks, I would have to watch it again.
Yeah. Oh, we didn't talk about the actors. I think everybody did a good job. Again, they're all caricatures of different things.
No one was awful. I mean, like we said before, the scientist guy who was in Hamilton, by the way.
Oh, that's him.
Yes.
Okay. Yep. Yeah. He's Aaron Burr.
Aaron Burr. So,
yeah. He killed Hamilton.
Yeah. What was I about to say? I think he had the weakest character. Not anything to do with the actor playing him or nothing. It's just his character just wasn't fleshed out.
No.
But everyone else they did good. Kate Hudson was fine. Why am I not thinking of these people? Or maybe I don't
Catherine
know.
Hahn.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah.
Who's usually pretty great in things that she's
a good actress.
Yeah. So yeah, like everyone did a really good job.
Janelle Monáe steals the show there.
Definitely.
Braun. Oh my goodness.
Crazy guy that was so hot.
Yeah. Now I can't
Edward Norton.
Edward Norton. He did pretty good.
Yeah.
And of course Daniel Craig.
Yeah.
But I would say Daniel Craig and Janelle Monáe kind of steals the show.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's pretty much it on Knives Out. Mm-hmm. I would say definitely go see it. I guess we're gonna rate it.
Yeah.
I would rate it. I'd pay for that.
It's gonna be I pay for that for me too.
Yeah. Yes. Which I did pay for it, and I told Netflix I would have paid movie theater tickets for it. Guys, come on.
Yeah.
Make your money.
Yeah.
Think about it. But yeah, it's a good movie. If you haven't seen it, well, it got spoiled for you, so
Hopefully you've seen it before you listen to this.
yeah. But I mean, it's still enjoyable, I guess. You know the answer to the mystery.
I mean, I'm certainly willing to watch this again. So
Oh yeah, I'm definitely gonna watch it again.
yeah, so
when
even
it
though
hits Netflix.
yeah, now that I know what happens, I can still watch it again.
And I don't say that about a lot of movies.
Yeah.
That like, oh, I'm definitely going to go watch this again.
Yeah.
Like I'll even say like I saw No Way Home twice in theater, right? And I keep going at home like I kind of want to watch this movie again, but then I never get around to watching it. And see, that's the thing.
Yeah.
Right? This movie, I definitely would watch. I would go, what should we watch as a family? And pop this movie on. So, yeah. Pretty good. With that being said, that's all our thoughts on Knives Out 2, aka Glass Onion. So, what did you think about the mystery? Let us know in the comment section below. Make sure you leave a like and subscribe to the channel for more podcasts and interesting movie thoughts. And we will